Coming up on AI Haven't a Clue.
The AI search wars are heating up.
ChatGPT is getting sexy, James, I hear.
Amazon and Microsoft between them are thought to control up to 80% of the UK's cloud market.
If we ever had any issues with America, we're in trouble.
Okay, that's decent.
James tells us about his big thing in tech this week.
51% of users are able to spot real versus AI images. And I answer another one of your questions.
Hello and welcome. This is AI Haven't a Clue, the podcast where we are finding out what is going on in this world of AI thanks to our resident AI expert. Not me, George Butler, but this man, James Chandler.
Hello very much. James Chandler, George's handler and master of all things AI.
George's handler?
Yeah, sort of.
Is that on your CV?
That's what I'm trying to get endorsed for on LinkedIn at the moment, yeah.
How are you, James? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, but I can see by your background you've got this sort of Florida sun still going on. You're still on your hollybobs.
I'm still here as we record. Thought I'd swing by. So it might be a slightly shorter episode this week, but we want to check in on what is going on in the world of AI. And before we do jump into the news, our listener question, your big thing this week, I believe we have another special AI guest, he says in inverted commas. We've had Taylor Swift before, we've had Snoop Dogg, a few others. Some sound really good, some sound really rubbish. I'm in America, as you've just said. Let's have an American guest join us now.
Hey guys, it's me, Kim K. I'm so excited to see what AI tea we're spilling this week.
Kim Kardashian.
No, come on.
On the podcast. Kim Kardashian, more like.
Is she sort of A-lister? Is she sort of the caliber that we want on the pod? I mean, it's a bit of a come down from Taylor, no?
Well, I wouldn't disagree with you. And of course, two bitter rivals. Producer Molly knew what she was doing. Trying to stir up some drama here on the show. We're not going to get into that. We'll save that for our other podcast, which is exclusively about Taylor Swift. But before we're up with the news, James, we are excited to be taking this podcast live to the future of media in London in it's a week or two now. It's not long at all. And James, if this is exciting, if delivery goes to plan, we've got some prizes to give away live on stage.
Have we?
And actually, on that note, This is huge news. Forget AI news. This is huge podcast news. Because going forward, you no longer win a mug by getting your question asked.
What on earth can be bigger and better than the mug?
I'll tell you, James Chandler.
Please.
An AI Haven't a Clue t-shirt.
Okay, that's decent.
Come on.
That's actually decent. Can you reveal what's on them?
Why don't we keep the suspension? Because I know people are really intrigued about this t-shirt. Why don't we wear them for the first time on stage at Future Media?
Yeah, I like it. I'm trusting you quite a lot here as well, because I genuinely don't know what's on them. So it could be that. Oh, could I have George's handler on mine? That could be quite good. Or on the back, like on a stag do. You know, like George's handler.
I don't want to know what's going on mine then. Before we get there, let's move on to the news in the world of AI this week. We've got to start with the big story as the AI wars are heating up. This is explosive because ChatGPT have launched Atlas. Loads of press coverage about this. For those who haven't seen anything, James, what on earth is Atlas?
They're in the browser games. There's a brand new web browser that you can get on Mac at the moment. It will come to other platforms soon. So it's an OpenAI product, but it's got ChatGPT baked into its core. OpenAI are saying that it brings them even closer to becoming a true super assistant, which is kind of Sam Altman's end game and where he wants to go. I mean, it's pretty good. I was having a play with it earlier this week. So it remembers all the context from all the sites, all of your browsing history, that sort of stuff. So it, if on a Wednesday you say, "Oh, take me back to those shoes that I was looking at on Saturday," it could go and find it for you. The really neat bit is that it's got agent mode in there. So you could basically say, "I want a return flight from Florida to Heathrow." It would go into Skyscanner or the BA site or whatever, do all the filtering, find all the flights, basically get it to the point where you need to check out, give it to you for you just to go, yeah, I can pay for that. So it'll do all the heavy lifting for you. Interestingly, they are, as if they weren't already, they are in direct competition. Google's the big one in search. Yeah. They've dominated it for so long, but also people like Perplexity. So they've got a free version. Their browser's called Comet, so it's kind of going in competition with those. Interesting, shares of Alphabet, which is the Google holding company, they fell when the release first came out. So this is
a lot. They fell a little. Fell a lot.
Tiny bit. I think sort of 3% kind of started recovering after that. But this is a big play from OpenAI and this very, very lucrative search market. We've talked about OpenAI and ads. You know, if they want to become this $100 billion company, they're not going to get there through subscription. They're going to have to get into ads. And this feels like kind of laying the path to getting towards something like an ad model. But yeah, big news in AI this week.
So talking on that commercial side of things, so why will being a browser like Google Chrome, why will that open up more potential ad revenue than their current model?
Well, I guess there's existing things you can look at within browsers. You know, Google kind of being one. You know, Microsoft have models, so it's a slightly more well-trodden path than, you know, if you're using ChatGPT as a kind of a standalone thing. The other thing is for all the time that it's separate, it's kind of somewhere else that you need to go. Like credibly, if you exclusively use ChatGPT, you maybe don't need to use the browser you've been using before, whether that's Explorer or it's Firefox or it's Chrome. You now have one place you go. ChatGPT sits in this little sidebar where you can ask it stuff about the page you're looking at. You needn't open anything else on your machine or your phone. And that's the end game. The fact you don't need to go anywhere else and retrieve this thing. So, you know, you look back now, it's easy to say it's probably inevitable they're going to get into this, but it's a big, big move.
Interesting. So we will need to do a couple of things. I think we need to sort of hear and test out how the actual product is when it launches more widely. And I suppose we just need to keep an eye on what impact it's having on competitors and if they're managing to pull people away from Google. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that.
What do you think about the name Atlas?
I don't hate it.
High praise from Butler.
Well, I mean, it feels like they've purposefully gone for something that is not overly techy.
Maybe
that it's something a little bit more grounded in history and in humanity, which is interesting. And it feels like everything they're doing right now seems to be in that vein.
Yeah, we talked about the ad campaign, didn't we? And yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, just to make it a little bit more human. How wonderful.
Thank goodness. Okay, Pinterest are in the news this week. They're trying to dial down their AI slop. As a friend of the show, Jack Benjamin, said a few weeks ago, the sloppening is going on right now. There is a lot of AI-generated crap flooding the internet, and Pinterest are trying to do something about it.
Yeah, they are. I mean, on that flooding the internet thing, there's a report that Pinterest have come out with. They say that AI now makes up 57% of all online material on the internet, which even for me, that's fairly staggering. But yeah, to take a step back, they're going to introduce some tools that limit AI-generated content, and they're going to make their AI labeling way more visible, so it'll be really, really clear what's AI and what's not. Their CTO, Matt Madrigal, he says the goal is trying to balance human creativity with AI innovation, so they're not anti-AI on this. They're trying to get the balance between the two, and it's their second attempt to try and curb, or dare I say, put a pin in the AI slop.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I've learned from the best. They had complaints back along that AI content had seen a massive uptick on the platform. These aren't numbers; it's just the way people was kind of feeling about what they were seeing. So yeah, interesting that they're addressing it. I was sort of trying to get some official numbers from the different platforms on how much material on those platforms are AI. Incredibly hard to do. The only number I could find was from Deezer, who are music streaming. They said that around 18% of the daily uploads onto Deezer are AI, but no one else is.
So it's nearly 20%, 1 in 5 of the daily songs uploaded to Deezer are now AI generated. That is huge.
Yeah, but no one's quite as forthcoming with what it is. But yeah, if you sort of take this 57% of all online material, I mean, that's quite interesting. And the one thing is why? So why is it important that the labeling is good? Why is it important that Pinterest are addressing this? It's thought that 51% of users are able to spot real versus AI images, so only half. So actually, if people are struggling to spot it, it's more important that the platforms, publishers, whatever it might be, flag it and detect the bad stuff as well, because people genuinely, 1 in 2 people can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not.
If anyone didn't hear our interview last week with Inception Point AI, I'm biased, but I'd say give it a listen. I thought it was quite interesting. But let's move on to a couple of stories from the world of ChatGPT. Our friends at OpenAI. We've talked about this before, James, that being rude to your AI might improve results. And I hear there's a study that might verify this.
Yeah, a very recent study that's saying rude, or they frame it as very direct prompts, slightly improve the accuracy of ChatGPT compared with very polite prompts. So the polite prompts got 80-something%. The very direct ones got almost 85, so 5 percentage points better. Results were from a fairly small sample, but I think it's interesting. You said we've mentioned it before. It was Sergey Brin who said it. He talked about almost kidnapping AI, being really direct and threatening with it to get what you want. Don't sort of pussyfoot around, sugarcoating things. You have to be sort of super direct with it. It's done on ChatGPT, but I guess this is in any LLM. We have to learn how to be a little bit more direct. I was sort of reminded of when we had Marcos Angelides on, and he was saying, the kind of impact on bringing up kids with this stuff as well. Like you're trying to teach your children, trying to be good parents, teach your kids to have manners, say please and thank you. On the other hand, if AI is becoming, far more commonplace, and to get what you want, you have to bark and make demands. There's a bit of a rub there, and I'm not quite sure how we get around those things. But yeah, parents, tell us.
I mean, it does make sense, even though it sounds weird about being direct and straight to the point. It does make sense. I mean, it's like if you go out for dinner and you go and have a pizza and there's something wrong with the wrong toppings on. The human thing is to go, oh, excuse me, sorry, I hate to be a pain and make a scene, but I think I've got tuna and I meant to have this, and if it's possible, and sometimes that causes confusion. And if you call someone over and say, I have tuna on my pizza, I was meant to have pepperoni, it gets fixed quite quickly. So it's just that thing, isn't it, about our human nature is to kind of be a bit polite. And you're right, though, James. Whilst it may be that being direct and slightly unpolite works better with AI, if we're growing up, which young people are now, using ChatGPT and the likes as part of their daily routine, we don't really want to be encouraging that rude behavior in our daily lives.
One thing I'd love to know on this is, and it got me thinking as you're talking about the pizza thing, are there cultural differences here? Like Dutch colleagues that I've worked with are far more comfortable being direct about things, for example. Like, the scene you described with the pizza is probably how I would behave. Is that a sort of a very British thing that we don't really like?
Yeah.
And there'll be other nationalities and cultures whereby actually being direct is just a thing.
Well, I'm in America right now, and you stand in line in Starbucks, and they're like, I'll get an iced latte, and I'll take a muffin, and that's it. And you're like, where's your please and thank yous? They're non-existent. You're right. The ChatGPT news does not end with manners. I can't believe I'm about to say this. ChatGPT is getting sexy, James.
Oh, I thought this was a PG podcast. I mean, what's going on? Turn the smart speaker off. OpenAI are going to launch a new feature in ChatGPT in December, which will allow verified adults to generate erotic text and engage in sexual or romantic conversations, joining platforms like Replica and Elon's favourite Grok.
It's kind of gross, isn't it? I'm sorry, I can't quite see a world in which this isn't quite perverted, that you want to have a sexy conversation with a computer.
It is a bit strange, but clearly there's a market for it. I always remember.
I'm sure there is a market for it, James. I don't question that. I just question the people who are in that market.
I remember when I first started my career in digital advertising, I saw this brilliant presentation which basically went into all the innovations that had happened with the internet and all the various things. And it's always porn that is about 3 steps ahead of everyone else in the market. So things like VR, AI, these guys were doing it way before anyone else. There's some very entrepreneurial people who are sort of the cusp of technology often. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, and it goes without saying, it's fairly obvious that there's some ethical safeguarding around things like this.
James, who doesn't have a VPN these days? Age verification means nothing.
Yeah, you're relying on people to be clear about how old they are, where they're going from. This stuff can get shared. It comes out of ChatGPT and into other things like WhatsApp, etc. You're going to juggle with different legalities maybe in different territories, that sort of thing. So I think something like this might be slightly difficult to regulate, and I do sort of think the optics of it, the body language is a bit weird. We're talking about OpenAI, ChatGPT trying to become more human, more relatable, and then they're doing something like this. It doesn't quite add up to me. And
we've seen already with Grok that there were issues. There was a Taylor Swift thing where an image was generated of her in that nature. It's clearly in many ways unethical. We've also had experts on the show before, like Jordan Travers, I think episode 18 or something like that. A really interesting chat about the way that these platforms often design these kind of AI companions and I guess this kind of relationship, this very adult relationship with tech. It's often designed in a way which is made for the man, and it can be quite misogynistic, submissive. It can really highlight the gaps in regulation and policy oversight in this space. So I think it's concerning ground, in my opinion.
I just hope producer Molly's not getting ideas about future AI challenges in December.
Yeah, a surefire way to get the series cancelled.
Fasten your seatbelt, ladies and gents. It's been a good run. Good run.
Maybe that's what the people really want. Before we move on, James, obviously everyone witnessed earlier this week the AWS outage, the Amazon Web Services outage. AWS, that's like the cloud, right? That's Amazon's cloud services.
Yeah.
It took down a lot of stuff.
Yeah, part of the lens which people have looked at through, particularly the BBC came at it through the sort of the government lens. So there's a whole bunch of UK government departments, HMRC, Home Office, Department for Work and Pensions, DEFRA, they're all on AWS, so they all kind of went down. These are critical infrastructure things. But not just that, Snapchat, Greg's, Lloyds Bank, Rightmove, Duolingo. I feel like I'm reading off your home screen here, George. But they.
How did you live without Snapchat, James?
I'm too old for Snapchat. I'm a geriatric millennial.
Oh, I've seen you with all the filters.
Unbelievable.
I think that shows that ages me, doesn't it? Snapchat filters still a thing? I'm not sure.
But there were a whole bunch of businesses that were affected. And when it comes to AI, I mean, OpenAI's API response times were slower. Anthropic was reported to be slower. Things like Midjourney, which is image creation, they said they had delays in rendering. So what became very stark and apparent was that a whole load of the things that we rely on, either for work or play or use in our everyday, can sort of halt in an instant. I was looking through some of the numbers on this, and Amazon and Microsoft between them are thought to control up to 80% of the UK's cloud market, which is, if the two of those were to go down, I mean, that's absolutely huge, not just for government stuff that we're doing, but, apps that people might be using to, delivery apps, people that earn a living through them. So, yeah, you sort of saw some vulnerability there, which is like, okay, what's the plan B if, and we don't know what caused the outage. As far as I can read, we don't know whether it was an attack or, someone pulled a cable out somewhere or something like that. But yeah, that vulnerability, I think, just sort of came into sharp focus this week in terms of things not working when we built so much on top of it.
I don't mean to be too doomsday, right? But
it's not like you.
We've just seen all this. Well, we've just seen all this new investment come in, billions of pounds of investment from American tech firms. Yeah. It shows that one little thing goes down and we struggle to live anymore. We are very much in the hands of America now, right? If we ever had any issues with America, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we've sort of played our hand there, and I think commentators would have seen it as we saw Trump come over, we saw Sam Altman, we saw the CEO of NVIDIA, all of the big dogs, as it were, from the tech and AOL come over. We've done the big deal, which I think was sort of lauded as being a good thing. But you're right, we have put our eggs in one basket. Lots of people now saying, should we diversify? Should we have, different stuff on different servers? What does the backup look like? This whole thing of a sovereign cloud as well. Like, what would a UK only cloud look like, so we can maintain it, look after it, fix it when it goes down, which we don't have at the moment. But the other side of the coin is, Amazon arguably is best in the business, and warehouse outside of Amazon and Microsoft, given they own 80%, where would you put it? So interesting one.
As you've said, we've sort of played our chips now, really, haven't we?
Just while you're over there, if you could just go and make sure everything's plugged in, that would be
Jeff,
would be useful.
Mr. Bezos, I think you tripped on a wire. Anyway,
he'd definitely he'd have a fast pass, wouldn't he, Bezos? He wouldn't be. He's not slumming in the slow queues
with his cowboy hat on. Anyway, final thing from the news this week. There's been a bit of research conducted by Vodafone with Dr. Nisreen Amin, a leading AI expert from the Royal Holloway University. Some interesting stats coming out. 19 million Brits now use AI in their everyday lives. Tasks like scheduling appointments for 21%, help with shopping as well for 20%, 17% use it for support with work. One of the stats, which I guess is kind of alarming, is that Britain seems to have a fairly low AI intelligence.
Yeah, it's a straw poll of one.
I think they listened to the podcast.
They might have. Well, they're saying 23%. So our combined score on this kind of AIQ, they're calling it. The combined score of the UK is 57%. 23% are below the optimal 80% score. So there's a few concerns, I think, maybe about that kind of AI skills gap that we might have in the UK. But again, I think this goes back to, we always sort of say it on here, this kind of fluency, like what's in place in your business that's helping you play with it. Are they making it easier? Are they paying for the pro versions? Are you going out and encouraged to kind of play with things? Are you being honest about where you're using it? All that sort of stuff plays into it. But it'll be interesting to see how we kind of stack up. Seem obsessed in this episode about how we stack up against the rest of the world. But somewhere like Dubai, I saw a post from Tony Evans, friend of the show, had a very similar but different study saying, Dubai and the UAE is basically top of the pile when it comes to literacy around AI. It's kind of everywhere. We know they invest in ChatGPT Plus for everyone who lives there. So, maybe it's kind of no surprise. But I think we were like 8th or 9th in that poll. So we need to climb, people. We need to be in the medals.
A couple of stats I thought were interesting, James. No surprise to see the 25 to 34-year-olds leading the charge when it comes to AI adoption. You're welcome. We're trying our best.
You're in that. In that group, are you?
Yeah, but
you're in there. Oh.
I can't say I am surprised to read the older generations are defying expectations. 27% of over 80s are stating they feel confident with AI. 12% using it daily. I mean, I'm not shocked. You use it almost every day, don't you?
Yeah, that's very good. Look, on a serious point, though, you don't need it's not like technology used to be, where you had to read a very detailed instruction manual on how to use it. I mean, these things are totally intuitive.
The easiest technology to use, right?
Yeah, and you don't, the benefit, the payoff is immediate. Okay, I'm struggling to fix this thing. I'm going to take a picture of it, and it's going to give me a step-by-step guide on how to change a tap or something. It's instant gratification. It's really good that you don't have to sort of wait for it. You're never, I think, rarely are you disappointed with what you get back from AI. Maybe you are.
I do also think, though, people don't often realize that they're using AI. Like, my gran speaks to a smart speaker every day. That's AI. Does she know that? I don't. She probably doesn't.
Yes, good point.
An interesting bit of research. We always love getting some stats like this. A final point to leave us on: 78% use AI in their everyday lives, yet nearly a third admit to knowing very little about the tech. Clearly, those people haven't been listening to the podcast. How dare they? Okay, James, time to move on to the bit in the show where you tell us about the cool, interesting things that you've been seeing in the world of AI. What is your big thing this week?
Big thing is, and I think a lot of listeners will have been using this for a while, if you're a runner, there is an app which is powered by AI called Runner, RUNNA.
I've heard of this app.
Yeah, lots of people are using it. It's a personalised running coaching app, and sort of made famous earlier this year. It was brought by Strava, which is the community of runners. So they didn't release how much, but it's thought to be about 40 million quid. So it gives you training plans for anything up to running a sort of couch to 5K, all the way up to if you're doing ultra marathons. It does all your strength, your conditioning, does nutrition, stuff like that, and syncs with all the various watches that you could wear. And effectively replaces having a human running coach by giving you AI recommendations based on the race that you want to do and how fast you want to go. And it sucks up all the data from all the runs that you do, and then it starts to give you recommendations on the types of sessions and the types of runs that you need to do. So it will give you, a load of hard weeks. It will give you some weeks where you need to recover a bit. It will taper you into races, all those sorts of things. So it's a really, really smart bit of kit. It's sort of I think one of the best examples, certainly in fitness, of AI sort of having an equivalence with what everyone used to use, which is human running coaches who are doing it via WhatsApp.
And runners are like art fanatics, aren't they? Like the people that are into running, they love it. Did you, James, just bring this up as your big thing because you wanted to mention how much you run and all your marathons and that? Is that all this is?
Oh God. Oh, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah, maybe. Because I have used it, because I do a bit of running. Because
you do your marathons, don't you? I mean, shameless.
Well, look, I did, and I used Runner a while ago, about a year ago. So I have a running coach, a human.
Do you?
And they, so you sort of get the comparison. And I stopped using a human for a little bit, and I tried Runner for a couple of months. And I mean, it's great. And I think if you've never sort of had coaching or anything before, I think it's a sort of a brilliant way to get in. And some people swear by it. I thought that if you compare it to a human, what it sort of lacks is, ridiculous thing to say, but that's sort of that human touch around, look, I've had a hard week, I'm a bit knackered, not really slept. Like, I'm not sure the AI would then say, not what to do. A human would sort of got that sort of empathy and context and say to do things differently. I think sort of messages with a human in this sense are slightly better than notifications from an app. And I found all of the sessions that it gave me were just so intense based on what I wanted to run in 3 months time. You just ended up getting injured. And just stuff like on race day, like having a race plan, having a human who's run that course before, for example, or, there's just a bit of sort of common sense, which the AI lacks. That said, I think it's a terrific app, and I've no doubt has got countless more, thousands of people into running and taking it a bit more seriously, which is awesome. So
Mr. AI actually prefers the human. How interesting. But a cool thing, to be fair, if you're into running and obviously when people decide to take up a marathon, and whether that is because they love running or they're doing it for charity or whatever, like it's a huge undertaking, and actually having access to something like that can really help people. So it's quite interesting. Thank you very much, James. And if anyone listening has also got anything cool they'd want to flag with the show and tell us about, we would love to hear from you. Get in touch. The email is aihaventaclue@gmail.com. And in the words of Graham Norton, at that very address is where you can send us your AI questions, because weekly James is tackling the things that you need to know. He's trying his best to answer the tough, challenging questions around AI, and I want them to be as tough and difficult as possible. I enjoy seeing James slightly sweat with how much he's struggling to answer.
I never knew Graham Norton sounded like that or said that. Just never heard him.
At the end of his show, every week, it might not sound like it, but he says it.
Never heard him. At
this very address. Okay. At this very address.
Yeah,
it's hard. Go and do your Graham Norton impression.
No, I just think stick to the Trump stuff maybe.
That doesn't work. Cut that. Right, this week's question is from Graham. No, it's not. It's not actually. Sadly, it's not. No. It is from Harry, however, who asks, if AI is at the steam engine stage of technology, what would the electricity stage look like?
Oh, very good. You see what he's done there. Very nicely framed. This says a lot to the intellect of the listeners here. Well done, Harry. Steam to electricity. So I think when it gets to this electricity phase, I think what you will find is that AI is kind of everywhere, but sort of invisible. It'll be like this sort of ambient AI that's just kind of happening in the same way that you don't really think about something when you turn on a light switch. You don't have to sort of think about it. Right now, you sort of have to think, should I use AI for this or shouldn't I? And you have to sort of come up with a prompt. That just won't be a thing when we get to this phase where it's kind of everywhere. You know, it will flag when you should go and see the dentist or the GP based on whether you're well or you've got any issues, rather than you having to remember any calendar, that sort of stuff. So it'll be kind of everywhere. Obviously, with any technology, the price of stuff comes down. So and it will get more reliable as well. So at the moment, you know, AI is pretty expensive. We're seeing that in all the investment into the companies. You need a ton of water to cool down some of these data centers, so it costs a lot of money to run, and that's not even getting into the kind of environmental impact around these sorts of things. In the future, I think AI is just going to run locally. It could be on your phone or your hearable, your earphone, your smart glasses, dare I say, and all of the chips will be smaller, more efficient, all that kind of thing. So you won't get what you probably won't get is all these kind of hallucinations and things going on. It will be, I guess, to use the electricity example, it's sort of as reliable as flicking on a light switch or turning on electricity. And, you know, of course, what we'll see in this sort of electricity era, if you like, is that just industries will be completely transformed. You know, particularly medicine, health, things like, you know, discovery of new drugs, of cures, of all that kind of thing. How we model things to do with the climate. There'll be new business models. Education could really benefit from it. So I think take any industry will be transformed by it in the same way that, you know, electricity gave us cinema and TV and, you know, all those sorts of things. And then the sort of the catch-all answer is we sort of don't know. You know, we if you went back to when steam was a thing and you asked people to imagine a world with this new thing called electricity, people probably couldn't have imagined what it would be. And I think it's probably the same for AI. New things that it will just enable that we can't even dream up. Not even the minds on this podcast, George Butler.
Really?
Yeah. You might be able to dream up some sort of dystopian future, which I'm sure AI could play into.
Just there's nothing left other than a little laptop. Everything else is scorched.
Oh, got very bleak. But Harry, maybe that sort of does it. Good question.
Yeah, good answer, James. Really good answer. Harry, I didn't mention this. I forgot. You just won yourself an AI Haven't a Clue mug.
Good
I
man.
know what you're thinking. Thank goodness, you've been desperately wanting one.
Yeah,
who doesn't?
Well, I do. Still haven't got one, but shame.
No, well, that's because you've not asked a question yet. Ask a question if it's asked on the show, and I'll decide if it's asked.
That's some sort of contractual obligation, don't I? Is there not? I mean, just
show me the contract. If you would like to win an AI Haven't a Clue mug, it's what dreams are made of.
Yeah.
Who needs the lottery? Then do email us, please. We'd love to hear from you. aihaventaclue@gmail.com, or leave your question just on a comment on social media. We'll find it, and you can have yourself a brew with AI Haven't a Clue. I'm using it every week now, James.
It's there again, isn't it?
I'm sorry, it worked, and I'm going to recycle it.
How many complaints do you think we need to get to before you would stop saying? I'm just hypothetically.
Before I stop saying, have yourself a brew with AI Haven't a Clue.
Yeah.
If it got to 3 figures, I might consider it.
Do your thing, people.
Moving on.
All right, no guests this week, so that means it's time to say goodbye, and thank you for joining us on AI Haven't a Clue.
If you've got a question for James next week, if you fancy winning a t-shirt, or if you've got a weird AI story or tale to share with us, we would love to hear from you. aihaventaclue@gmail.com is the place to go to email us or drop us a line on social media. Do check out our Substack as well, and subscribe and rate us, and maybe share us with a friend who wants to know a little bit more about AI, if you so wish. Thanks to Team AI Haven't a Clue, as always. That's it for now, but James, until next time, remember...
Please stay curious.